Welcome to our first lesson on ServiceNow. I'm logged on as an administrator in one of the demo accounts. Feel free to go to the website servicenow.com and create your own account so that you can practice. In this lesson, I'm going to demonstrate the user interface and how to navigate within the actual platform. What do the things mean? For example, what are forms? What are tables? How does the platform works and the way it's structured? So first, the top bar that you see is called the actual banner frame. So this area on top is called a banner frame. The main screen that you see here is called the content frame. This is where all of the content is displayed. On the left side of the screen is the application manager. So this navigation pane holds various apps they can take a look at, and each application has modules. So for example, if I were to scroll down and expand customer portal, notice it gives me the launch portal new window. So this right here is a module, and the customer portal itself is the application, and then the area is the application navigator. So I can click on, for example, incident, and notice it'll give me several modules. So if I need to create a new incident within the organization, I can click on create new, and it will navigate me to that particular dashboard or page. So straightforward. Just know these terms because for the exam these are helpful. So once again, the banner on top, we have the application navigator on the left, and of course the content frame in the middle. Perfect. Next is the drop down arrow. Notice you see within the content frame, and this is where I can navigate to various areas within the portal, such as knowledge management, other open state monitor, and so on. There's so many of them, and I'll cover most of these within this course, but just so that it's easier for you to search a particular item and then navigate directly to it. On the top banner side, on the right side, notice there's a settings icon. This is where I can change the system settings. So for example, the options that I have are general, theme, lists, forms, and notifications. I can change the actual theme or the environment, the way the platform looks like, for example. So if I click on theme, notice I have several options. So as soon as I click on, let's say, the blues theme, notice on the background my theme would change. Similarly, if I were to choose terminal, my theme would change accordingly. So you can pick and choose as per your own requirement. Lists, system settings, I have the option to wrap longer text in list columns, and I'll shortly demonstrate what lists and forms are, but these are just system settings. Similarly, forms has its own settings with the form, after form loads, or on demand, and whether you want tab forms or not. And then of course we have our notifications. We can connect to the mobile, desktop, email, and audio. So just a few basic settings, and within my general tab I have settings such as homepage, dashboards, calendar. So once you log into the platform, what happens? You can configure your time zones as well. Perfect. So just some basic system settings. Let's close this dialog box. So this toggle connect sidebar simply brings up another sidebar on the right side if I need to. The search allows you to search items, and what it does, once you search items, it gives you groups of your search results. Okay, and I'll demonstrate that shortly as well, but just to give you an idea what the banner frame holds. And of course the IT admin or the user menu is displayed. I can click the profile, I can change the profile settings for my own self. Impersonate user is a great option. I can in fact log in as another user. So at this point, if you're the administrator, you can change settings for all users, but if you like to see and impersonate another user, you can click on impersonate user, and it brings up a dialog box where I can search for other users, for example, and then log in. And why do you want to do this? Is because each user has its own set of dashboards, own theme, own environments, own application sets. Not everyone has all of these applications. You're the administrator, so you are going to have everything listed here in the application navigator on the left side of the screen, but other users may not. So you may want to configure and customize options for these users as well. Perfect. So once you understand the basic interface, let's navigate to, for example, the filter navigation here on the top left. This allows you to in fact search for all of these applications. So for example, if I were to search for users or tables or forums or incident reporting, knowledge base, catalog, I can simply type in text and it will change the navigation. So for example, if I were to say something like knowledge base, and it's going to display my knowledge articles, the homepage of the knowledge base, I can create a new article, and so on. If I click on the X next to the filter, it's going to remove the filter and bring me all of the applications. If I scroll down, for example, let's navigate down to see various applications. And notice there are hundreds of applications. There's several of them that you can take a look at. I want to talk about forms and tables, as I mentioned earlier. So within System User Interface, there's an option called Forms. So if I click on Forms, for example, this is going to bring up within my content pane the forms. I can create a new form for users to fill out. Maybe I like to create a form that's going to handle input for ordering a new computer. So anyone wants new hardware, piece of hardware within the organization, well, I can create a form here. Notice there are other forms that are displayed, and within this form area, let me in fact hide this. In order to hide the application, I can minimize the navigator so you can see the full screen. The settings area, I can personalize the list for the forms. So if I were to, for example, click on this, it's going to bring up a screen or dialog box, and I can personalize the list columns within my forms. So at this point, I have table, view, sysuser, and then updated. I can select additional available columns and add to the list. Because notice, if I were to, let's say, select display name and simply add it, click OK, what's going to happen is going to add a display name as well for this particular view. The toggle list controls, for example, on this content frame. Within this instance, I can click on it and I can click on view, for example. I can choose filters, I can group, I can show, refresh list, and create a favorite as well. If I need to take a look at a particular form, for example, let's pick any one of them. Let's say ALM facility. If I click on this, it's going to display the actual ALM facility, the user, and I can update records, copy form. I can also delete this as well. So on the bottom, it shows me that there are 5 contracts, 2 financial, disposal, depreciation, the actual table that it's related to, updated by, and then the date. And I can navigate from one record to the other and one page to the next page, for example. So very easy interface, in fact, to take a look at your actual backend data of and belonging to various users and what they do with it. So let's bring up our maximize the navigator here. Let's scroll up. If I were to click on home page, for example, it's going to take me back to my main dashboard. Similarly, if I need to, let's say, take a look at certain tables. Tables are important because they hold all of the data for the entire enterprise. So within the filter navigation, just click in the field, and I'm going to go ahead and just type table. Just to give you an idea what tables look like, I'm going to get into it a little bit more in detail once I get to the tables lesson. So if I click on, let's say, the system definition tables, here I can create and manage all of the tables within the company. Same interface, just like forms, I can personalize the view, for example. So I can click on the gear icon, and what this will do is bring up the personalized list columns. Right now, only 3 fields are displayed: label, name, and updated. If I need to choose from the list, from the available list, I can simply just select one, for example, let's say user role, add it to the selected column, and then click OK. And of course, this will add another column to this. So now I can see the user roles, if any, right, belonging to all of these tables. And there are about 3,374 records. Perfect. If I need to click on a certain table, for example, let's say account or access roles, let's go ahead and select access roles. This is going to display all of the details for these table columns. I can change the label. I can also provide access, such as read, create, update, or delete. I can click on the controls tab, and I can use the auto numbering to define a sequential numbering, just like a primary key in the table if you're familiar with the relational database. And of course, I have the columns as well, where I can click on and pick and choose and display various column lengths. And I can also update the personalized list within this as well. So if I click on this, once again, the list columns appear, and I can add additional available options to the right side, and it will display those as well. So for instance, if I need to, let's say, select one of them, let's say created by, and add it to the list, click OK. And once again, this is going to change the view for me. So now I know that the U-test column, for example, was created by Francis Dales, and the rest of the tables are created by the system itself. So this way you can just get a feel for what a column is, what a table is, what a form is, how to navigate your way and take a look at various applications, what a banner frame is, and the actual interface. I hope this helps practice, navigate around the actual portal so you get comfortable working with it. So with this, let's move to the next lesson.